Hello everybody, my name is Bishop Uzo Geoff. We are here today again. It's a wonderful day to be on this program, Time of Inspiration. I have a wonderful guest. He has been a guest that come regularly to us, Dr. Uzo. Man of God, you are welcome.
I'm glad to be here, Bishop.
And today we will be able to go into one of the commonest diseases in our time, diabetes. A lot of people have known somebody that suffer diabetes or are going through diabetes. But I want us to go into it squarely, Dr. Uzo. But today I want you to understand that we will learn some things. What is diabetes, the causes of diabetes, and some of the preventions of diabetes. By the grace of God, the man of God we have here is an expert in diabetes. He has been able to help people to continue to live, help some people to cure diabetes, actually, that diabetes eradicate in their life.
Yes.
So I want you, if you are here, I want you to be very attentive and listen, because he has some great informations. And by the end of the program, you will be able to contact him. Man of God, what is diabetes?
Well, diabetes is a symptom complex. It's just that the blood sugar is higher than normal,
Okay.
or the normal range. And sometimes we have a local name for it. We call it sugar diabetes or sugar disease.
Okay.
The word diabetes means sweet. In fact, there are two types: there are diabetes insipidus and diabetes mellitus.
Okay.
That was the original name. So, but the common name an average person calls is sugar diabetes. It's simply saying that the blood sugar is too high for comfort. Is much more than the normal range. The normal range is supposed to be 65 to 85 milligram percent or milligram per deciliter in the blood. So when you test the blood sugar or the fasting blood sugar, this is supposed to be the normal range. Outside this range, we call it pre-diabetes or diabetes. Sometimes it's called syndrome X. So it's not just one thing. We have diabetes, we have pre-diabetes, we have syndrome S. They all look alike, and I will explain, break them down so that you can take it down. For instance, a lot of people have not developed full-blown or frank diabetes,
Okay.
but yet their blood sugar is way higher and it's at the lower upper end of normal. We call it borderline. Before we used to call it borderline. Now we call it pre-diabetes, because there's a complex now that sometimes people call it insulin resistance. And I will tell you and define it to confine it. Now, you see some people, they are big or obese. They have high blood pressure. They have problem with their lipid profile. In other words, cholesterol is high, especially the triglycerides. Then the LDL, the bad cholesterol, is high. And they may even have polycystic ovary and obesity. And then when you check their blood sugar, it's outside the normal range, from 85 to 110, in that range. So we call them insulin resistant. Before they used to call it syndrome X, so people didn't write that. Now it's so either you call it syndrome X or pre-diabetes. In fact, nearly always, if you are pre-diabetic, if you keep on eating the way you are eating, you might end up with full-blown diabetes with the attendant complications.
Wow. I hope you have been able to understand in a nutshell what diabetes is all about. But I have a question. Somebody just wrote us right now. He's trying to find out that a lot of people have said, she said, I've heard a lot of people say that diabetes is from the gene. How come a lot of people are having the same disease? Is it that everybody have diabetes in their gene?
Okay, I'll answer that question. There are two types of diabetes if you consider it in a global or broad heading. There's what is called type 1 diabetes.
Okay.
That one, we call it insulin dependent diabetes. Before we used to call it juvenile or childhood diabetes.
Okay.
The one that most people, majority of cases, know is the type 2. So you have to define which one you are talking about. And with epidemics of bad diet, and sugar is everywhere, because diabetes is becoming pandemic. In fact, the line between type 1 and type 2 is becoming blurred. So nobody really know which is which, because even the people they say is type 1, which is insulin dependent, there's nothing you can do but keep on giving them insulin. That one is believed that the pancreas is dead totally, and that it is some form of autoimmune or viral illness that attack the pancreas and destroy the islet cells that produce insulin, which is the hormone that drives blood sugar inside the cell. So type 1 is the one that happen in children, or when children are young. That one, it is said by doctors that you can't do anything about it but to give them insulin, which is the hormone that the pancreas that was destroyed lacks or can't make anymore. But that's minority, less than 10%. But the average, or the majority actually, of diabetes, which is the topic of this discussion, is the type 2 or the adult onset. In fact, even type 2, we begin to see it in children. So we begin to wonder that even the type 1 may be diet related, because the mother who should have been eating for 2 when he was pregnant did not eat right, and the child ended up having it earlier than usual.
Wow. So now the diabetes have been so rampant in every...
Yes, it's an epidemic.
It used to be that people of color have more, but now diabetes have cut across every color, race, demography, gender. It has gone everywhere now. What are the commonest, like, without going into much explanation and details, because Dr. Uzo, at the end, if you want to consult him for personal consultation concerning any of these illnesses, diabetes, cancer, talking about high blood pressure,
high cholesterol,
he can
prostate
be able to,
conditions.
Yes, he can be able to help you either to cure it, because he has cured people naturally, or help you to get it controlled. But how can we now, in the world, the way it is today, be able to stay without diabetes, let me put it that way, or be able, those that have it, how can they either get out of it or cure it, or even manage it effectively so it does not interfere with their life, the way they live their life? Like if they are going to live up to 100 years of, or 120, they don't cut themselves short because of this illness.
Wow. Bishop, you ask questions like a doctor. I will just take it one after the other, and then, make it a process so that we can process the enormous information I will release. First of all, let's understand this. Diabetes is not incurable. We do not medicate, we eradicate. We do not control, we cure. We do not treat symptoms, we actually cure the system. What you want is not medication. What you want is eradication. Metformin, glucophage, diabetes, all those synthetic pharmaceuticals do not treat the root cause of the problem. The number one cause of diabetes is your diet. We are what we eat. Let's start from the basics, the bedrock, the fundamentals. Not only are we what we eat, we are what we digest and incorporate into our cells. Now, if you eat a lot of sugar, unfortunately, sugar is everywhere. Candy,
Soda,
the sodas,
fruit
chocolate,
juice and all kinds.
fruit juice, processed sugars, even your diet Coke, diet soda, sports drink, energy drink, there's virtually sugar everywhere. Even the processed grains raise the blood sugar. We call them high glycemic index food. Glycemic come from glucose or blood sugar, index pointing to that direction. Now, look at it this way. A lot of people, without even knowing it, have sweet tooth. You are not supposed to have sweet tooth. You are given at least 5 test senses, and I will define. 1, It's supposed to taste something bitter. It's supposed to taste something salty, something pungent or spicy is the third one. Number 4, it's supposed to taste something sour, like your sauerkraut and sour milk and all that. And then finally, of course, something sugary. Unfortunately, people like things that are sugary. So my common sense take is that when people are going for sweet things, sweet to bitters are better. Anything bitter, it doesn't matter whether it's bitter lemon, whether it is bitter cola, or whether it's bitter leaf, or whether it's bitters like gentian. Bitters are better because they nourish the pancreas where the original problem came from. Let me tell you, diabetes is because when you overwhelm the pancreas, if you keep on putting sugars or sugar substitutes or fast sugars or processed grains, which eventually go back to sugar, including milk. Let me even define sugar before I tell you what it does to the pancreas. Anything that ends in OSE is a sugar. Glucose or the table sugar, lactose or the milk sugar, maltose or the malt sugar. Even the malt, we think he said, is 46 gram sugar, a bottle of malt. So these are the way anything that ends in OS is a sugar, including alcohol. Anything sugar can do, alcohol can do it.
Wow.
Sorbitol is sugar. Even honey is sugar. So if you look at it, sugar is everywhere. Even custard is sugar. Processed grains go back to sugar, even though they are starch or carbohydrate or carbohydrate, they also go back to sugar.
Yes, but based on what you are saying about sugar, don't we hear this saying that sugar is necessary, that we need sugar to have energy?
Good question. I'll come back and tie it to the former question. You need energy, but you spikes of sugar or blood sugar up and down. The thing that create the problem is the fast sugar that flood the bloodstream with sugar. And then once you flood the bloodstream, you challenge the pancreas. And if you keep on challenging the pancreas, it will get exhausted. And when you keep on flooding the bloodstream with sugar, they become resistant. The pancreas that secrete insulin will fail or work minimally. And then the sugar, the insulin, which is the hormone, the islet of pancreas secretes, now cannot take the sugar inside the cell, especially the brain, the muscle, and the liver. And you will not have energy. Even though you are trying to pump energy into the system, the pancreas will become overwhelmed. And then your cells will begin to resist insulin. That's what we call pre-diabetes, insulin resistant. And this is the prerequisite of pre-diabetes before the actual full-blown diabetes. So the stuff you are calling energy is good, but we don't want the spikes that come and go. Now, if you eat complex carbohydrate, let's say you take your oat, the sugar is sustained and it does not overwhelm the pancreas and it does not exhaust the pancreas. See, the problem is not sugar. The problem is how you release it in your system. And we are supposed to eat in a balanced fashion. Nature craves for balance. Once you eat, every time you are eating, everything is about sugar or sugar-based or carbohydrate and so on, eventually your pancreas will give up. And that is the problem. So you don't want to get energy at the expense of your pancreas and your life. Like you said, Bishop, diabetes can cut at least 10-20 years from your lifespan.
Yes.
So, and it's pandemic. So, and it's like sugar is everywhere. So if you learn to mix and match, especially if you eat raw stuff, your tomato, your smoothie, your kiwi fruit, your cucumber, your strawberry, and then even your potato, they are low glycemic or middle glycemic. By glycemic is something that raises blood sugar high. Don't forget your bubble gum is sugar. Bread meat is sugar. high fructose corn syrup that have been attributed to almost 100 diseases is in everything from candy to soda pop. So sugar is everywhere. So we have to be careful to eat our fiber, to combine sugar with protein, to combine it with fruit and vegetable. And when I say fruit and vegetable, don't go back to sugary fruit and vegetable, because it's a problem. People go back to banana, they go back to grapes, they go back to watermelon, honeydew melon, they go back to oranges, tangerine. These are things, again, that raise blood sugar. We call them high glycemic index food. So it's true that we need energy, but we don't need spikes of energy to the detriment of our pancreas and our blood sugar.
Wow, this is awesome. I know that you have also been able to answer some questions in your life right now, but I want him to go further. With the little time that we have, our time has been fast spent. Man of God, I want you to, somebody is listening to us now. One, you are going to tell them, I know that this information is playing on Time of Inspiration on the television now, but you still find it on YouTube. So type in the name Dr. Uzo. You will see most of his clips, so that you can be able to get information on how to reach him. If you have developed this illness already, or you know somebody that have some of these things, even he has done many videos more than diabetes, that he has gone to high blood pressure, cancer, and the great things about palm oil, coconut oil, and all that. He has a lot of informations out there online. So I want you to go back and check him out, and maybe some of your questions will be answered. I want us to go now to what are some of the solutions that we have in our disposal right now, because since we cannot run away from sugar, we cannot escape it, because we have to eat. And almost every food that we eat still go back. Even some of the food, when they digest, they produce sugar. So how can we be able to balance it up with our diet and be able to control the influx of that sugar, or what I call the glucose, into the pancreas?
Well, good question. We have a 4 cardinal program. Number 1, detoxification and cleansing continuously is a process. Number 2 is what is called therapeutic lifestyle changes. If you want to stay fresh, eat fresh rather, and avoid flesh. In other words, introduce raw fruit and vegetable that are non-sugary, that are low glycemic, that do not raise blood sugar and do not cause free radicals, including fried stuff, because that's also another contributor to sugar, especially high fructose corn syrup. It's even worse than sugar. Now, the third one is supplementation. We cannot talk about supplements enough, because most things we eat actually lack some essential nutrients that the pancreas uses to process, to package, and release insulin. The fourth one is exercise, psycho-spiritual consideration, including meditation, the word of God, and as well as tender loving care. We incorporate these 4 cardinal points together to cure, not control, and reverse diabetes. See, you can take even sugar with moderation, but know how to balance. Nature always craves for balance. So if you don't understand these cardinal points, they work together. See, you cannot just take one thing in isolation. The body is one. So you coordinate these 4 cardinal points in order to cure or reverse high blood sugar. It could be pre-diabetes, it could be syndrome X, including obesity, and it could also be even type 1 can be controlled, but type 2 can be cured completely, totally. So, Bishop, like you said, we have to eat a lot of fiber. We have to put a lot of fiber into consideration. And most fibers come from fruit and vegetable that do not have sugar. Because I keep on saying non-sugary sweet and vegetable, because people go and eat white bread, white potato, white rice. They all increase blood sugar. So when you balance them and eat fruit and vegetable that have a lot of fiber And people don't like to eat things like wheat jam and oat bran, and then things like oat, amaranth, quinoa, buckwheat, millet. There are other grains that do not raise blood sugar. So they are all there in the market, but you have to look for them. That is why we call it holistic, because we have to combine everything that will nourish your body. So not only are we doing detox or cleansing, because most of the blood sugar is not just controlled by pancreas, but the liver is also like a mini laboratory that processes so many food. And pancreas work with the liver, and the liver work with the colon. And colon, of course, through circulation, works with the kidneys and circulation. So the 4 cardinal point, don't forget, because we do a lot of nutritional consultation, and then we also do nutritional counseling, and people consult us. So even if you don't get anything from this teaching and lecture, the 4 cardinal point is very necessary. 1, cleansing and detox. Detox is that you have to do cleaning, you have to clean the cells, because with purity comes wholeness. Secondly, don't forget therapeutic change, lifestyle change, by introducing raw, non-sugary fruit and vegetable, and incorporate them into your diet, including your fiber and the enzymes. Phytonutrients, very, very important. Then 3, supplementation. Now we cannot do without supplements. Too many things we eat, and I don't know about you, Bishop, but I cheat sometimes. I eat white rice, I eat pounded yam. So because of that, I take a lot of chromium, I take a lot of supplements, which is all, that combat blood sugar, including metformin, fenugreek. I take fenugreek, I take chromium and vanadium, and then comprehensive multivitamin that help to nourish not just the pancreas but the whole body, because the body is one. And then finally, the body is meant to move. The body is not to stagnate. The body is meant to be dynamic. This is where exercise comes in, Bishop. And even if it is weight gain, in weight loss, exercise is only 20%. Diet is 80%. So exercise is necessary, but diet, that's why I mentioned 1, 2, 3. Diet, detox, supplementation, therapeutic lifestyle change before exercise. Of course, word of God, the spiritual aspect of us, because it's actually the spirit that heals the body through the mind. So Bishop, I thank you for inviting me, and it's awesome. I don't know if you have other questions, but I'll be glad to answer it.
No, I just want to, because there's a testimony we're sharing about a woman that contacted you last time, and you, by the help of the different cases, because you, like I told you, Dr. Uzo consult case by case. Not everybody is not the same.
Yes.
Our health system and our body structure and everything is different from everybody.
Yes, our background genetics is different.
You might look like somebody, but the way you will be treated will be different. So, can you just give us like a testimony?
Well, Bishop, it's been many. My case files are bubbling with all kinds of testimony. What I've been doing over the last 10 years is to take people out of prescription drugs and then into holistic, so to speak. I give their life back to them. In fact, this woman came, she's taking up to 5 drugs. She was taking metformin, she was taking another drug from cholesterol, Lipitor. She was taking another one for high blood pressure. 2 of them was, in fact, they've given her all the metformin, all the glucophage and glucopar, all the prescription drug for diabetes, but the blood sugar was still spiking very high. So what I did was to, first of all, you don't ask anybody to stop their drug, because when the natural start working, when it kicks in, when you are well, you don't need the drug. It's only people who are not well that need physician. So what I did was to do a lot of cleansing and detox. The first thing I did was to clean her colon, because she didn't even know she was backed up.
Wow. And
when you are backed up, you put pressure on the pancreas. People only talk about insulin, but they forget that pancreas secretes pancreatic enzyme that help digestion, because they work with the bile duct at the liver.
Okay.
And then, of course, the colon. Pancreas also secretes what is called glucagon and another hormone, so that when you are hungry and you haven't eaten, the same liver will release glucagon to stimulate the liver to bring the glucose, glycogen storage to form glucose back to the bloodstream. So what I did was to relieve the pressure, not just biochemical pressure like hormone lack or insulin resistance, but physical mechanical pressure. Because when you are constipated, you put pressure on all the abdominal organ, the liver, the pancreas, and the gallbladder.
Yes.
So that's what I did. When I relieved that pressure, she didn't even know what constipation it was, because she was going to use the restroom. Her bowel movement was just once in 2-3 days. So I first corrected that, cleansed the colon, detoxified the pancreas, the liver, and then the colon. After that, what I did was to give her some natural thing like banaba, which is botanical insulin, change her diet, added raw fruit and vegetable and smoothie, and within 6 weeks, her blood glucose that the doctors couldn't control with all the medication and synthetic pharmaceutical came back to normal.
Wow. This is a wonderful testimony, and yours can be the next. So you are listening to us now, and you want God, through this man, to change the way you live your life so you can be effective in this earth and do the purpose of God. You have to contact Dr. Uzo. On the screen, as you are looking at it now, you will see numbers that you have to call, and he's on YouTube. Just type the name Dr. Uzo. You will see a lot of videos that have been done, or you can go to our website, shepherdtvnetwork.org, and look up all our past episodes of Time of Inspiration and see what God have used him to do. We'll continue to have him on this show, but I want you to sit tight, because every time we come is Time of Inspiration. My name is Bishop Gabe Ezeobele. Thank you, man of God, Dr. Uzo.
Bless you. Glad to be here.